Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And hi, if you're new here, I'm Jade. And today we are going to be choosing things from my TBR jar for the month of May. Now, I will say this video isn't going too well. I started filming, then I realized my microphone wasn't on. Then I started again, and we now have a storm outside. I think with the microphone we should be okay sound wise, but I really apologize if you do hear any of it. This storm wasn't predicted. We are supposed to have one this evening, but I live in Kansas. They come from nowhere and it's horrible. But that's how it is. That's also why I'm holding the microphone, which is a little bit awkward with the TBR video because it's so much easier to use the jar when I have two hands, but I know otherwise we're going to be picking up a lot more of the sound of the storm. So last month we made this TBR jar and I did my first ever TBR jar pick. We picked 3 books, which I feel is the perfect amount for me because I have a couple of book clubs I do, so that dictates a couple of books that I will read. Obviously there's sometimes new releases I want to read, and sometimes, I just like to have the free reign to choose what I want to read. Therefore, I feel like 3 books was perfect because I'm kind of averaging, I think it's sort of like 9-10 books a month at the moment. So having 3 kind of like dictated elsewhere, and these TBR prompts giving me the encouragement to read something that maybe I wouldn't reach for, because typically I'm a bit of a sort of mood seasonal reader and I will go with whatever I feel like in that moment suits it. Today, with this nice storm, it would probably be a good thriller. Although I'm currently reading Emily Henry's new book, which I'm loving. I've still got one book actually from my TBR jar choices to read, but it is currently only like, oh God, what even is the date? Like the 25th of April? Does that sound about right? I don't know. So yeah, the time of filming this, I've still got one more to read, but I know I'll have time to read it. And so I'm 2 down, 1 to go from last month's choices. But I'm excited to see what we get this month. Okay, this is a bit of an awkward angle, but I'm kind of balancing the TBR jar on my knee so that I can do this all with one hand. Let's go. Okay, I have one in my hand. I'm just putting the jar down. Okay. We have an ugly cover. Now, I will say, offhand, I can't think of any covers that I really think of when I think of ugly cover right now. Like, I can't think of, oh, I hate this cover on my TBR. So let me go and have a look through and I'll pick a couple of choices that we can discuss because, yeah, there's nothing that stands out instantly for this one for me. Okay, so while looking, I managed to knock my TBR jar over. I am a pretty clumsy person, so it's probably a little surprise. But no, they're all put back in now. And I had a little rummage and I've come up with a couple of books. I have to say, I feel really rude calling someone's book cover ugly. I don't think they are ugly per se, they're just not the most attractive to me. I guess you could say, like, there was nothing wrong with them. It's just that if I went in a bookstore and saw these covers, would I reach for them? No, probably not. So the first one I went for is Sally Rooney's Normal People. I don't know if this is always the cover, but this is the edition I have, which is a British one. I've had this for a little while and I've brought it over to America with me. But it has, if you can see, 2 people in a sardine can. And there's just nothing really that attractive about that, is there? Like, I don't know. It's just a bit weird. I mean, I'm sure it, once I've read it, it will make complete sense. But if I was to walk into a store and see this on the shelf, know nothing about it, I'm definitely not going to be picking it over that. That's just my opinion. But I have heard such good things about this book. I still haven't actually read a Sally Rooney book. This is the one that's been sitting on my TBR for a while, so it is something I probably should get around to reading. And the rain has got really heavy, so I'm really sorry if you can hear it through the microphone, but I'm hoping it's doing a pretty good job at keeping it out. I think it pretty much keeps out like lawnmowers, so we should be good, right? Then the second book I have picked is this one. It seems a bit harsh calling this ugly, but I'm just not as huge a fan of using like real photographs for book covers. And this one is quite in your face. It looks like one of those cheesy romance ones. There's a few of these I could have picked that are on my TBR. I just went for this one because it was like the first one I got to. But it is actually quite a pretty picture. It's not, if I saw this in a bookstore, I just don't reach for these kind of covers generally. I have to really know the author if I'm going to be buying something like this. If that leads to you having questions of why I even own this book, I actually won this on a Goodreads giveaway. And I think it's like these cute little summer stories to kind of read. So I think it'll be cute, and it definitely has summer vibes, and we are moving in towards summer, but I mean, obviously with the weather today, with this heavy rain and storm and stuff, it's definitely not really vibing. So maybe I'm letting my seasonal self dictate this a little bit, but I think we're going to go with Sally Rooney's Normal People. Oh my god, the rain has got so heavy. But yeah, so I think we're going to go with Sally Rooney's Normal People, so I can finally say I've read a Sally Rooney book, and this has been sat on my TBR a lot longer than the other one. So yes, let's pick this for ugly cover, just because Sardine Can isn't really calling out to me in terms of covers, okay? To be honest, I don't actually really know what this is about. It's all the reason I bought it was because I heard everyone talking about it. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Okay, the jar is on the knee, and we are ready for number 2. Yellow. And this one is pink cover. So we have another cover-based prompt. So let me go through again and see. I can think of a couple offhand. I feel like I'm going to have quite a lot of pink covers, but I can definitely think of a couple offhand that I could go for. So I will probably just choose the most pink. I think that makes sense, right? Okay, I've gone through and my 2 most pink are actually both arcs. One is an old arc. My TBR jar fell over again. As I was saying, I picked up 2 most pink books, which are both arcs. One is one I've just received, one is one I've had for a while and sadly didn't get around to reading before the book released. I think it's the only time I have not read an arc before the book's release, and I felt really guilty about it. But let me show you them. So there is this one, which is by far the pinkest book I own. It's called A Mannequin for Christmas by Timothy Janowski. This actually isn't out until later this year. This is the arc that I just got given, but it is a Christmas book, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't know if I can bring myself to read a pink book in May. A pink book? Of course I can read a pink book. A Christmas book in May. I feel like if I make myself read this in May, I'm just not going to have the Christmas vibes, and therefore I feel like I won't give it the rating it deserves. So I just don't feel like this is a good choice, to be honest. But it is definitely the most pink book on my TBR. Entirely. It's so bright and yeah, very pink. However, we also have this one, which has this light pink background, which is the other arc. This is the one that I didn't get around to reading, and this has come up quite a few times as like an option for certain prompts and stuff I've had in the past. Like I did a video where I was going to read a romance for Valentine's, and this was one that I let people vote between. It didn't win the vote, so I didn't read it. I just feel like there are so many chances that I've almost picked this that I feel like I owe it to this book and to Amy James, who, I kind of got this arc from. I feel like it is time, because I know that even though it's already out, people are still going to appreciate my review. Like the author will hopefully still appreciate it. So, yeah, I feel like I should be faithful and choose this one. Even though this doesn't match today's vibes with this storm at all, I do feel like we're moving into that area where we get a lot of warmer weather now. We're like fully into spring. We've had some really hot days here in Kansas, but we also do get quite a lot of storms. So even though it isn't really vibing with me today, I feel like it will vibe with me over the next month. And essentially, in case you're wondering, it's about, it's obviously a love story, a romance, and I think they fall in love through that Wordle app. Like they play on app, doing the word thing, and fall in love that way. So that's kind of the premise of this book, in case you're wondering. And if you want to see what I thought of it, then obviously my May's wrap-up video, which won't be out for a little while, will tell you what I thought. And the jar is back on the knee, ready for choice 3. Blue. A title that starts with the letters H to P in the alphabet, so anywhere in between. I feel like this could be a little ended. That's why I was a bit wary of putting prompts like this in my jar, but I did. But yeah, I feel like this could lead to a bit of a big choice. So I think I'm just gonna go for like the first couple I see, and we will pick from there. Okay, almost immediately I found 2 beginning with H, so I didn't even get further through the alphabet, and I was like, you know what, I should just pick from those, and if I ever get this prompt again, we can go further down the alphabet or something. But I was just like, let's just go for H, right? Because otherwise we'll be here all day. So the first one that stood straight out to me was Haunted by Kat Martin. She kindly, I can't talk today, clearly. She kindly gifted this to me at the end of last year. I still haven't read it. I think it's like a thriller romance. I've heard some really good things about her writing. So yeah, I think this is an interesting choice. It obviously begins with H, so took that straight off. Honestly, don't really know what this one is about, but I like the idea of a romance thriller. So this is one potential. So I think this is a bit of a fantasy, but not your kind of like dragons kind of stereotypical fantasy like Fourth Wing or anything. I think this is more of a. It sounds more a bit of a more of a whimsical fantasy. I think it's about children with magical powers. I think I said in my book haul thing that it's the plot summary remind me a little bit of the start of the Umbrella Academy, if you've ever seen that TV show, where these sort of like magical children are brought together. I think they're all like in this house on an island in this one. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard so many good things, and it's a book that I've wanted to read for a long, long time. This might be the hardest choice out of the prompts, I think, because honestly, both of these books sound really good. But you know what? We've already got a romance. Even though the other one is thriller romance, it's a bit different. This is thriller romance, so it's not going to be the same as the romance, but I feel like because we've got that, we haven't got any fantasy this time. So let's go for the fantasy, because also I've really wanted to read this for a long, long time. Okay, so we have our 3 books chosen for May. We have Sally Rooney's Normal People, A 5-Letter Word for Love by Emmy James, and The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. If you've read any of those books, please let me know which ones you think I'm going to love. Hopefully I will get some 5-star reads. We will see. But yeah, I'm excited to read more in May, but I am currently now going to head back to my Emily Henry book as I am day off today. And it's a storm, so what else am I going to do, really? You know? So, yes. And I will see you again real soon. Bye!